This professional Valorant team had no idea on how to manage their economy. In this flashback matchup between Karmine Corp and Team Heretics, we're turning back the clock to revisit vintage rosters, cancerous icebox, and one of the worst formulated game plans in Valorant's history. Karmine Corp were consistently missing utility, had piss poor buys, and it showed in their results. This is one of the most fundamental skills that even silver players understand. So how could a franchise team budget their money this poorly? It's a shocker. Prepare your eyes, everyone, because this was embarrassing. Now, it's not like Karmine Corp were lagging, their brains might have been, but these guys are on the best setups money can buy. If they did have high ping or packet loss, they could just download Gear Up. These guys are kinda pay to win. This program makes your network connection stable, lowers your ping, optimizes your connection if you suffer from bad network infrastructure, eliminates ping spikes, and more. Personally, my internet sucks because I live in the middle of the forest and have horrible packet loss. But after downloading Gear Up, that got brought down to 0. And if you don't believe me, you can try it out for yourself. Because with my link in the description and using code TEETSTV, you guys get a free trial and a 10% discount code. I've supported these guys in the past. Joel's uses Gear Up, and so is Temet. And even if you don't play on PC, Gear Up has a console booster called HyperRev. What more could you want? So support me, this channel, and fix your internet issues all by trying out Gear Up. Stop slouching and get to it, maggot! Now, before we dive into this clown fiesta of a round, we need to do some backtracking. Karmine Corp lost pistol round, and on their eco, 3 players decided to buy sheriffs. Scream even went on to force half armor. On defense, this just doesn't make sense. Normally, you're spread out and aren't able to group up and snowball all of your force weapons like you would on attack. So making an investment like this doesn't seem like a big deal, but on defense, it is. They got 0 value out of the sheriffs, and it hurts their first buy round. Look, Scream opts for a Vandal and half armor, and 0 utility. He doesn't have a molly to stall the plant, and no flashes to push his team through either a Viper or Harbor Wall. XMS also has no cascades, but full armor instead, and Shin doesn't have a mosh pit, the biggest molly in the game. Make it make sense. Karmine Corp are known for running these no duelist comps, but they don't want to buy their utility? Listen to what their IGL Scream had to say back in Sao Paulo, and it gets even more confusing.
It doesn't seem right. It doesn't feel right that you're not playing a duelist character.
Yeah, when I came into this team, you know, I wanted to have a more structured game. And I think duelist in this game is a bit more, you know, you lose kind of a lot of tools, you know, a lot of tools when you play like a KO, like a Fade, like this kind of stuff. And they did as well. They didn't play duelist on every map, and you know, it's hard to play against. So that's kind of what we do, and duelist is overrated.
Oh, okay.
That's what we do. Duelists make you lose a lot of tools. Then why do you buy guns, but not the tools? Weird. Karmine start this round in a pretty spread 2-2-1 setup, anticipating some mid-aggression, but eventually fall to a 2-3 setup. Team Heretics are positioned in a 1-1-3 default. Their plan is to take A main. They dart for close, cascade up, and have a good amount of space in a small amount of time. Killjoy's turret is also holding mid, and this Viper wall is applying pressure B every time it goes up. Solid default. They wait for Sova's recon to recharge, and Owl Drone to get closer to sight. Sova shocks any potential mollies, but Scream tags 4 people with his knife. This forces Team Heretics to make a decision. They can A, either cut noise and threaten that they could have rotated off, or cut noise and re-hit the site. But as long as they stay quiet, they threaten that they could have left. The attackers opt for the earlier and rotate to B. Now, this is horrible for the defense, as this is where Karmine's comp struggles. Without a Sova, they have a hard time gathering constant information across the map. All they have is KO's knife. I mean, they could use Dizzy, but it doesn't go far, and you'll only get 1 around if it lands on the enemies. So, Karmine Corp gamble that they're re-hitting and decide to stack A. Without any recon abilities, they have no choice but to commit to a coin flip. Either keep the stack or spread back out. Heretics are heading up B, they pop Harbor's Reckoning and get a free plant off. Karmine have no choice but to play retake, and with no tools, this is going to be rough. They don't have flashes to go through the smoke, so they pop their Viper's orb to come out from sight. This orb is great for so many things, delaying the plant, crossing from yellow, or like you saw here, retaking. They are lucky that Viper had this orb for them. But they also have one more piece of utility I haven't talked about yet, and that's Wingman. Since Karmine have the better weapons, this round is certainly winnable, despite having no abilities.
But again, where's the damage off the back? It's not really coming through at all. Heretics shutting it down so far. The response finally kicking in for time. It's going to halfway. But it's not the whole way, and they are running out of precious seconds. Defuse just about comes in time, and they defend him, barely.
Karmine were 1 second and 1 collateral away from losing this round. They didn't get punished for their poor economy management, and they got lucky. Okay, we have a bit more backtracking to do. Stay with me. Because they lost so many members on round 3, they decided to force on round 4. Nothing wrong with that, except that Harbor could have bought an Ares, Spectre, or Stinger and would have had a much better chance in this gunfight. Regardless, this is a high-risk, high-reward buy that would put Karmine Corp in the driver's seat if they win. But if they lose, they definitely need to save.
That's an open plant.
Oh, yes, there's damage, but Navera, again, how much are you meant to do here? Oh, he's done wonderfully to find Zeke, but the defuse seems out of the realistic realm.
Okay, so they lost, whatever. Not a bad play, just risky. Now they have to save. What the fuck? Scream buys another Guardian and half armor. I don't get it.
Duelists is overrated.
If you're going to buy like this, why not just play Jet? It makes 0 sense. And I just... You know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Scream is going to make me eat my own words and I'll look like a dumbass. They started another 3-2 setup. Gecko spotting mid, KO and Harbor fighting B, and Killjoy and Viper are fighting A. At least they're keeping the good guns on opposite sites so that Heretics are going to have to run into one of them. Speaking of, Heretics start all 5 players towards B. Their plan is to keep all their rifles away from the low buy, and if they do lose one, they can all protect it and throw it off the map. Mixwell Cascades, Zeke Recons, and Kellog's updrafts. They have total B main control despite being tagged by Scream's knife. The offense scale further into sight, but Gecko throws Dizzy for Scream. He can't get one, and he flashes for himself to reposition. Karmine are ready to fight, but Heretics now know Scream is here. They don't want this smoke and head back to A to avoid the 4-spot weapon. And again, because Karmine Corp have a hard time getting information, they can't have a good read. Nuzera gets smoked off in mid, and he gets to A early, but what is he going to do? He only has a classic. Heretics scale up, get a free plant, which makes this an easy round.
Kellogg's nasty position once it drops. Already Zeke gonna find Scream, so you are losing out players. Navero's the only one with a real rifle, and Avova digging his heels in on the side.
Yeah, this force buying strategy is hard to watch. Okay, surely now Karmine are tired of not buying utility, right? Let's see what they purchase this round.
Duelists is overrated.
Oh, looky here. We have Scream again with no flashes and no molly, but even better, we have a Killjoy on defense with 0 mollies and a no alarm bot. Woohoo! Without an alarm bot, this creates so many potential avenues for the offense to leak through. On old Icebox, her turret can only watch so many lanes, so this forces the defense to commit extra members to this area. And they didn't even have Gecko's mosh pit. The guy bought full armor instead. Team Heretics don't know this, but they could run it down B like animals this round and never stop, and it would be the perfect play. These players are on a franchise team. Whatever, let's see how it works out for them. This can't be good. They start in a 1-2-2 setup. Harbor is playing retake B. We got 2 players in mid since there's no Killjoy utility, and 2 more players on A, and they're setting Viper up. Heretics start in a 2-1-2 default, but once they learned Viper stunk up the A site, they group up towards B. The attackers scale up, KO rotates towards orange to help Harbor, but I don't know what he's going to do besides spray through the Viper wall, and the execute begins.
Tension seems somewhat known here. Heavy lean towards B. We do have players on the side for Karmine Corp though. Knife potentially going to catch 2 there. Kellogg will be held somewhat in place while suppressed, and the ult pop to follow. Now, no commitment to the plant just yet.
Yeah, it's actually popped a little.
The one saving grace that Karmine Corp have is KO's null command. It stalls the execute, and Heretics have no other map control. Backtracking and reclearing can take a long time and can be risky, so they have no choice but to re-hit and run into this 4-stack. Their Harbor high tides deep orange, Sova rips his ultimate, Viper blasts her snakebite, and Heretics scale up to try and make space. But what they don't know is that Karmine Corp hate utility and don't even have anything to stop the plants. They don't need this extra space. You could have all 5 defenders here, but with no utility, you're not denying the plant. In theory, though, this is a great decision from the offense because they need to push the defense back and apply pressure mid-site so they can't stall with their mollies as comfortably. How is this going to work out?
Oh, Hunter's Fury going to come in as well. And it's going to be somewhat effective so far. A little bit of a chip. I think their damage may be done, but Shin standing tall on the side. You're going to need massive work from Kellogg's here. Does the first bit of damage with Zeke, but Zeke's fallen. We're down to 13 seconds. The stall on the side's been great. And Uzera planted at his feet. They held them off.
And the only molly that Karmine Corp had gets them the last kill. How did they pull off this miracle?
Improvement so heavily the other day. It is kind of worrying that we're seeing this early on in map 1.
Karmine got away with murder. Don't get me wrong, the 4-stack was nice. Swinging with Dizzy was okay, but like, come on, man. This highway robbery. Previously, Heretics had a really solid round with their Harbor ult and abused KC's poor mid setup. This puts Karmine Corp on an eco. Oh boy. Alright, who's buying the Guardian? Come on guys, who wants to be the troll? I mean hero this round. Wait, no one? Are they actually doing it? Oh my god, they're actually saving. This is great, but like what's the rule to buying? What's their game plan? Do they just like trolling some rounds? It's obvious that they have nothing set in stone as to when or what they should buy on these eco rounds, and it's really frustrating to watch. But like I mentioned before, just because you're on an eco round, that doesn't mean you can't rack up important damage. They start in a 2-2-1 setup. Their plan is to fight mid and B and let Killjoy try her best on A. Heretics start in a 1-1-3 default. They see Karmine's high tide, which cuts through mid and B main, and have the read. Fighting into this is risky. The attackers group up A and start to scale behind their own cascade. Because Karmine Corp have bad weapons, they gamble over and rotate to A after seeing this potential aggression. XMS manages to hit a nice shot onto Kellogg's and creates an opening into the round. Heretics are feeling pressured. This forces out their Viper's Pit. The attackers fall back to main, and they play long-range duels and plan to spam any diffusers. Karmine are having a hard time finding a way into this fart cloud. Boo sprays down Shin, Zeke takes down Newzera, but XMS takes down Zeke. This throwaway round has suddenly turned into an important swing round. Whichever team wins this is in a great spot.
Viper's Pit still in place, making this such a problem for Karmine Corp. They just can't quite get to that spike. They can't quite take away these players on those front lines. Boo from the back does well find Newzera. XMS still doing damage, but it's too late. It's too late in the day, and there's nothing more to be done. Yes,
the Viper's Pit combined with all the mollies was just too much to handle. But if you're Karmine Corp, you should be really happy with how this eco turned out. Karmine Corp take a time out to discuss their finances.
Budget approved!
Hey, so I know we just saved up a bunch of credits, but what if we bought Killjoy and Op? I won't be able to buy an alarm bot or any mollies. Uh-huh. Well, what's your point?
Fuck it, let's do it. Hey, yo, what the fuck?
While it sounds silly, this actually isn't as troll as you think. If you've watched any of their past games, you'd know that they actually get a ton of success out of Newzera opping. And he has the stats to back it up. This is just another really high risk, high reward play. I like it. Their setup is a bit scuffed though. They have 2B, 1 mid, and 2A. This Killjoy turret spots the entrance to kitchen, but it also tags anyone who crosses these points under orange. With it, Killjoy can op on B. Harbor is spotting them into A cross, and KO and Gecko are getting aggressive on A. This doesn't look too bad. Team Heretics have 4 people geared up to hit A, with Viper setting up her lurk smoke in mid. The round starts with Karmine high-tiding the entrance and flinging KO 0 point, but it doesn't stop Heretics. They scale behind their cascade and know that they can't get punished that hard if they're not facing a duelist. Scream jiggles and sees Jet Shoulder. He asks Shin to throw Dizzy, and he times it perfectly with KO's flash.
Go in. There's Dizzy to follow. That's nice. Layered, but dealt with.
This was a good play for Karmine Corp. Flashing for Dizzy can enable her to get multiple tags off, but they don't have a jet. You know, KO doesn't have a dash. Shin was holding belt, but they had no one holding nest. Had they waited for Harbor, or had an alarm bot to put mid so Harbor could be on A, this play would have been perfect. And you know, this is why teams love Jet. She can do things that no other agent can. It's a 4 versus 4, and Heretics invest their Killjoy lockdown. But look, Shin bought utility this round. He launches his mosh pit and trades out 1 molly for an entire ultimate. Yeah, this used to be a thing. And this is also why you buy abilities in Valorant.
Splash grenade! Fucking laser beam from the sky! This guy can't see anything, he sees blue. This guy sees yellow. He sees something, he's flash. This guy peeks, a kill! I can see, I can't see. This guy's casting a spell. More smokes, more rain, more lasers from the sky. Green, this guy's a dog. Sniper! And then the site's taken.
Team Heretics decide to cut noise and re-hit the site. This, again, is genius. Remember, Karmine Corp don't have a lot of information gathering abilities, so cutting noise against this team should work great. This forces Karmine to gamble a lot, but they've gambled right. Heretics put their high tide up and make their way onto site. Most of Karmine are here, they wait for Heretics to start planning and start their retake early. XMS unleashes his reckoning. Newzera mollies the plant spot, and Heretics start to back off. Kellogg's died pushing the wall, and the offense offense feel a stack, so they immediately pivot out of A main and into mid. Again, Karmine have no information. This is a good call. But with only 30 seconds left, they need to plant and avoid this operator.
Heretics should get connector control here.
Okay, this actually makes it a real issue for those rotations. It's a long way back if you go CT through the safe avenue, and there could be that pressure of Boo. I wonder if he sticks... What was missed?
The operator gets one. It's a 4 versus 2. The attackers get pinched, and the op cleans it up. While it didn't necessarily win the round, everything else certainly did. After back-to-back rounds of incredible playmaking from Kellogg's, Team Heretics managed to put themselves up 8-3. Karmine is on a force buy. What's the plan? Scream, their IGL and KO, buys a Vandal and full armor.
I may not have a brain, gentlemen, but I have an idea.
Dude, just play Jett. I don't get it. Karmine Corp are in a 2-1-2 setup, but Team Heretics are going fast. All 5 of their players are Group B main and use their Harbor's Reckoning to instantly take space. Scream and XMS are forced to back off, but Scream finds a small timing back into yellow. Is the Vandal full armor going to pay off?
Juggling that forward. Needs around from Scream, though. One's fine. Needs a whole lot more. Yeah, they're falling, though. Kellogg's going to continue forward. Rifle this time. Opts for something a little different, and it's messy. It's scrappy. Yes, Mixwell's low. Kellogg's is low, so they're still down.
Scream got his, but imagine if he had a flash or a molly. There's a reason why a lot of teams are constantly buying half armor into most rounds. Full armor just isn't worth it. I mean, he got one tapped by a Vandal, but XMS does a ton of damage with his Guardian. Heretics don't have a lot of HP to spare, so they decide to play a bit of mind games again and cut noise. Jett and Killjoy decide to rotate out and make some space, and Harbor goes for a ballsy fake.
They're going to try and fake it. Mixwell's putting a little bit of
He's got the spike. He's got the spike.
He's just tapping it.
Okay.
He's tapping it to draw the further rotation,
Okay.
maybe anticipating somebody is still positioned towards
Mixwell, with 20 HP mind you, pops his cove, taps the spike, and immediately rotates out. This is a fake masterclass. KC have bad info agents, and Heretics are abusing their comp. Because of this tap, Heretics have a free sight. But with 2 of their 3 players being one-shot, this round is very winnable for Karmine.
So deep on this that any retake is still going to be a million miles away. Plant's going to come in with no threat.
10 seconds left.
Should be just fine.
Spike planted.
Okay, and now here come the problems. First tag done, that's Nevera down a little lower. Second bited it for Kellogg's, he's hunting him down. He's for
Kellogg's is fearless. He knows that if they just give Karmine all of the space, there's a high chance they lose with their health being so low. Mixwell uses the time Kellogg's is buying to go and starts to wrap mid. He takes down Shin, and all of this was just too much to come back from.
He's got to get a move on here. Mixwell is going to do it. Actually, Kellogg's has gone down. So, again, Nuzera, though, how much are you meant to do with just a sheriff in your hand? This is such a... Oh, it's just an impossible task. Mixwell's position is a million miles away. Boo is just playing time. As long as Mixwell doesn't fall, it's all but over. Heretics playing a fantastic half here. And Karmine Corp, sadly, looking like they didn't learn their lesson.
If you're a Karmine Corp fan, all hope isn't lost. Yet. They won the pistol, the round after, and now they're on the bonus. So I thought. In case you're new to Valorant, you should typically full buy after you win pistol. Then on the 3rd round, you use whatever guns are left over to do as much damage as possible to the enemy team, who now have to full buy. At the end of Karmine's full buy, they had 3 rifles left over. So why are they forcing like this? They have guns left over. Why not snowball those ones into one area since you're on attack? Instead, XMS decides to go full armor into rifle, and Nevera goes all in too. But Nuzera properly bonuses? Maybe they're saving for an op? I don't know, man. If they lose this round, they're going to shoot themselves in the foot and ruin their chances of coming back. They didn't need to invest everything. They could afford to go Bulldog half armor, maybe a Spectre, or a Marshall even. This risk is extremely unnecessary. Then with this force buy, I guess, they trolled by going A, no one followed the wingman onto site, Scream left-clicked a flash and tried to follow up off it himself, and they lost the round. Which brings us to this round. XMS buys full armor and a sheriff, but no cascades, and Nevera has a Marshall and half armor. Let the clown fiesta begin. Karmine starts in a 1-1-3 setup with their Spike by himself B main and everyone else towards A. Heretics have a stall setup on A, are fighting B, and have Sova in mid with a turret in kitchen. KC start the round by applying a bit of pressure on B with their toxic screen and Dizzy, and they also knife close on A and scale up. Some of them have bad guns, so they want to group up, cycle the good guns, and do some damage. Karmine are looking to take some fights. They get close to Maze and get distracted by the Easter Bunny. money. XMS loses the Sheriff versus Vandal fight, who would have thought, and there goes their smokes. They already have a rough time making space without a duelist. This is tough. Scream hears Killjoy's utility close by, decides to molly it, and then start their execute.
On the spike here, I'm gonna fragment the Util. If this works, I'll be very surprised. Nope, it didn't.
I've never heard you disappointed.
No,
Mike.
I actually,
right now,
I really,
you
because I
sound-
was so impressed with Karmine Core the other day.
I know, that's the sad part, because you
For the second time in a row, no one makes space for Wingman to plant. This little guy just gets obliterated again. They barely manage to squeeze in, and without smokes, and the enemy's Viper Orb covering default, are forced to plant mid-sight. Karmine have to fight up, and can't play for spam.
take what they can get. Thrash gonna go in. Does it find anyone? Scream's kind of playing behind it a little bit, catching Mixwell in no man's land. Avova not going to be caught, though, going to refill that space and start working towards the side. Back lines, have they got it locked down here? Scream needs to activate. He's doing the best he can. He made a damn good go of it, but it ain't enough, leaving it just in the hands of Nuzera in a 1v2. Good shot, but again, it is not enough. Heretics with the answers, and Karmine Core with nothing.
Karmine Corp are just not used to fighting up like this. They were never going to win if Wingman didn't get the plant down. They just didn't have the weapons, or utility, or brains. What does this franchise team buy this round? Oh wow! Scream buys a Guardian. He'll have 3,400 credits next round. Just enough for another Vandal half armor and 0 utility buy. Please don't buy like this, guys. This is Omega Troll. They have all 5 players ready to go B, and Heretics are in a standard 2-1-2 setup. Stall A, fight B. Karmine scale up with their Cascade, it drops, and the Mr. Force by himself drops within the first 15 seconds of the round. But they do get the tread on Kellogg's. That's an extra gun, it's a 4-on-4. This doesn't look that bad if you're Karmine Corp. Navera activates his lockdown, but it has 100 gaps that the defense can play in and spam from. It gets broken, but then they throw Dizzy off the map. They're only flash, then they throw up their high tide for some reason. Never mind, this looks horrible. And then they cut noise to try and make Heretics think they left, but with Viper pushed up and all of Killjoy's setup still on, there's no point in leaving. They send Wingman to plant, plus a Clove. He gets melted again, but Navera gets a kill. Somehow, it's even. Heretics then flip up their harbor wall and cut off the spike. Karmine Corp have to push through this, but their only flash is out of bounds. How could they possibly win this one?
20
Spikes down,
seconds.
your Viper's dead.
Come on, show me something here, Karmine Corp. Yeah, no, absolutely. Mark Mixwell's having a lovely series too. Good to see from him individually, but the bigger questions are what the hell is going on right now with Karmine Corp.
I'm seeing a number on the left side screen as well. Screen brought down to 500 here. I'm praying to go.
Oh, they decided to wall up in such a way that the defense could walk all the way up and blast them in the side of the head. Tier 1 Valorant, everyone. I was gonna do a part 2, but I think this clip does it justice.
Really
They could
back
pivot
away
to B.
from
A
this now.
pivot B here would be so good. A pivot B here would be so good, Karmine Corp.
Oh my god.
Run B, motherfuckers! The guy that flanked you from mid or B is dead. You had 35 seconds to rotate. You know that there's going to be an A stack. Where are you going? There's 15 seconds! Where are you going? You can't go B now!
I'm sorry for laughing, guys. This isn't my normal voiceover voice, but this game was just too funny. Nowadays, Karmine Corp's roster is much better. Kinda. I mean, they destroyed Fnatic in this video.